Congratulations. You're at the stage where things are really going to start coming together quickly. I hope these visuals can inform you in a fun way. Of course, you can specifically call me anytime about any of this stuff. My contact information will be available at the end of the video. For some crazy reason, you don't already have it. Remember when you were little and you needed permission to go on a field trip at school? Well, this is no different. We're going to need your permission to take you on a trip to home ownership. You're about to receive our mortgage disclosure package in an electronic format. This will allow us to streamline the process. Without your e-signatures, note that we're at a standstill. Loan disclosures are going to get you the key information you need to understand the benefits, costs, and risks to this. Hopefully you'll notice a level of transparency when it comes to this in the specifics in your loan. It's not only something the regulatory agencies desire, but it's also our mission that you're crystal clear about what you are about to get into, so to speak. Believe me, we want to make sure that you are good with all of this. So if there are any issues, speak up now. It takes an army of specialists to work on your loan. These selfless folks will gladly commence in any kind of work without any guarantee of being compensated, with the mere hope that it works out and the transaction closes and funds. So anything that makes you feel weird, let us know now. Remember, there are always more opportunities. Make sure that this is the right one for you. One of the things I let folks know is that there's an entire organization called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau looking out for you. They created a new act to make sure that you, as the mortgage applicant, has a loan estimate presented to you in 3 business days of an official mortgage application. Due to restraints of time, we can discuss what specifically makes a mortgage application in a different educational video in this series to try to depict the mortgage estimate process to something most of us can relate to. Pretend we have boarded an airplane that's going from Traverse City, Michigan to St. Petersburg, Florida. If you've taken that trip before, you know that gusts of winds will take you a bit off track all the time, but the pilots are obviously trained to eventually get the airplane back in the general direction of its destination. In other words, the airplane is slightly off until almost the entire time until it lands. In our case, there are unknowns that can and have come up during the process that can affect the bottom line. It's our duty to help manage the third-party costs to benefit your loan's bottom line. Some things may be a moving target, like closing dates, surveys needed if title requires them. Let's say an appraiser flagged a repair that no one caught. Final inspection might be required, or even separation drawings for a well and septic. Not to be too off topic, but when was the last time that you accepted a contractor bid and when they completed the job, they said, you know what? I estimated too high. Here's some money off the total. It has happened to me never. Please note that our estimates, usually high, as almost always, will deliver terms better than presented to the client. Now, why is that? To avoid unnecessary delays in closings. If there are any unknown hidden costs that come up in the process, Uncle Sam will make sure you know all of those costs and make you think about it for another 3 days before any forward-moving progress can take place. Let's avoid upsetting the agents or selling parties if at all possible. And remember one last thing. There's nothing final right now. This is just the starting point, so just relax. Here's what to expect. If you get a ton of emails, when the email comes into your inbox, it's going to say your name, David William Crater sent you documents. Here's what the email will look like when entering the signing room. Here's a list of documents you will be signing. Again, go ahead and e-sign. We are at a standstill. Without your approval, we can't work on your behalf. Order the necessary appraisals, etc. Bridge the gap to home ownership. Make sure your borrower's information are correct. Make sure your social security is right. And don't worry, if there's anything wrong, we can always fix it later. Send us an email and we can fix it. Make sure you e-sign everything because otherwise you're holding everything up. Also note, you're not obligated to anything. And those of you wanting to know numbers, the loan estimate will be highlighted. There will be an entire video dedicated to this area of those who want to know line by line what each fee item and why it's necessary. There will be an overstated real estate property tax usually in a homeowner's insurance initially from the lender. The lender might do business in multiple states and not have scrutinized your specific area. So note, the lender will defer to always the higher side of any cost to ensure, again, no delays are occurring and they're operating within regulations. For your specific scenario, always ask your loan officer to go over what we call the closing cost worksheet. Remember, your loan is not locked at this point, and that's okay. We're going to be monitoring the market together to capture the most opportune times to lock that loan, leaving us enough time to perform on the loan to close and firm. Oftentimes, delays aren't even our fault. Sometimes the sellers may be the holdup. Two other documents seem to have a frequent question to them: the credit inquiry letter. If you have recently opened a credit card, applied for a car loan, a credit inquiry will show up and it will default as a new account. Always default that a new account was not opened. So what happens is, if there's a new account that you've opened, there's going to be inquiry and the underwriter is going to want to know exactly what is associated to that new balance and if there's a monthly payment associated to it. Most likely, we already know about it. Almost always the client will elect to waive their right to receive their appraisal within 3 days. Reason: if the lender is okay with the condition and the value, most likely the buyer is as well. Not to mention, the buyer will receive the appraisal exactly when we do. So unless you're in the Amazon first and had no interconnection and demanded you see the appraisals 3 days prior to closing, even if the lender is okay with it, you would select second box. I sure hope this has been helpful. Again, for specific questions on your loan estimate, contact me personally and we can deliver and cover it in detail until you completely understand every section.